crazy feminist post on Facebook because it's funny, and I think that you guys will enjoy hearing it. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and I'll be perfectly honest, I made a really long video a few days ago that took me a long time to write and edit, and I just don't really feel like writing at the moment. So, yeah, I was looking through social media, and I came across this really good debate between two MRAs who knew their stuff and were linking a lot of information, a lot of sources cited, a lot of videos, a lot of data about things like male suicide and men and boys falling behind in every level of education, basically explaining why men's rights are necessary, or, advocacy for the gender-specific issues of men and boys, like I like to say. They were doing a good job of that. They weren't calling anybody names. They weren't saying that women are all liars and whores or whatever you would, maybe think that the worst of misogynists who hate feminists would potentially say. It was none of that. It was none of that. It was none of that at all. It was the kind of thing, like, not as good as Jordan Peterson, but it was kind of a little bit, if you looked at this online debate, for the most part, it was kind of like that woman that Jordan Peterson debated, where she was just being like a rabid dog and he was eluding her rather like a flying sparrow or something, It was kind of like that, because the people who were arguing against these people were calling them names and calling them idiots and everything. And they just, persisted and kept going and explaining the statistics and why feminism is directly in opposition to helping men. And they got themselves across pretty well, I would say. And I say that very specifically and explicitly because I want it to be abundantly clear that the following comment from a feminist who is responding to them, who, by the way, wasn't even in the discussion the whole day. She just read the whole thing and decided to post this after other people had been talking the whole day. She is not referring to... There's no basis in reality for what she's saying. Like, what she actually says here. Like, you would think that the guys that she's talking to were sending rape threats or something, but there's no basis in her pearl-clutching reaction at all whatsoever. It's completely funny. So, I'm just gonna read it, and that's gonna be that. After watching this colossal fuckfest unveil all day, I cannot express how appalled I am by both of you boys, blank and blank. You are both a couple of straight-up bullies, and should both be ashamed and embarrassed of yourselves. Remember this. You boys are the very reason why feminism exists. What you have done today, blank more so, is give me, and most likely everyone who read your posts, literally the most in-depth look into the wicked that is a sexist MRA's mind that I have ever seen in my entire life. And I am almost speechless at the level of putrid, vile, and you both desperately cling to and have convinced yourselves of. I never knew the MRA ideology went so low, could be twisted so out of the context of reality, and that it was even possible. The things I read today literally left me speechless, dumbfounded, shocked, and genuinely sad for mankind. I almost want to take you both in my arms and hold you and ask you what in the world ever happened to you to hate women this way. There are so many men in this world that I love. Men that are good and kind and add to the betterment of this world. And you boys have made me value and love those men even more. Because now I see that they could have ended up like you. I'm sorry. You both are suffering at the hands of your own undoing. You are fighting a winless fight that you will only end up losing. And this is where it starts to get good. This is where her true colors, like at the beginning, she acts kind of like she's being compassionate, but like what she wanted to say is the following. The ball has started rolling, has gained the momentum it needed, and women are rising up. Nothing you can do will stop that. The movement is too strong now. Your hate and anti-women propaganda will only serve to be the key to your undoing. You only make us want to fight harder for equality. I'm sure your mothers would be brokenhearted to know your disvalue of women. You have women to thank for your very lives. You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for the women who carried you and nurtured you in her body for 9 months. It is painfully clear that you both hate women and are afraid of strong women rising up for equality, and that says a lot about your own strength, or lack thereof. We want to be equal, not greater than men, and if you cannot accept that, then you both are gonna struggle for the rest of your days living very frustrating lives. It's 2018. It's no longer 1955. For the record, I don't think either of these guys were any older than their early 40s. So, the whole 1955 thing, I'm not sure what she's talking about. So she says, it's 2018. It's no longer 1955, and this is our year. It's our year. Oh, yeah, you sure? But let's keep going. The revolution is stronger than it has ever been, and there's no putting back the floodgate. Men like you have unleashed female rage all over the planet, and it is because of a millennium of men like you that feminism has risen up to where it is now. There is no avoiding equality any longer. It is in your face, up close and personal, in the news, on TV, in the streets, in business, on social media, and that's why you are both feverishly panicking, because you know this is a movement larger than both of you, and that there is nothing you can do to stop it. Both men and women are fighting for the equal rights of women. You are outnumbered. I almost can't even be mad at you because I feel so bad for both of you. You guys are only hurting yourselves and setting yourselves up for failure as you self-destruct. Be strong men that aren't afraid of or threatened by a strong woman. There is no reason to be afraid or threatened. Damn, if anything, a strong woman should turn you on. By the way, one of the guys that was talking to her is gay, so I don't know if she was even reading anything. It really kind of seems like maybe she didn't actually read it. Anyhow, the world will only be a better place when all of its people can be the best they can be together. This thread was so scary, and I just wish there was some way I could reach you and help you to understand what feminism is, and that is not the enemy of men. But you've both demonstrated ad nauseum that you are so out of touch that you cannot be bothered. I hope one day you guys can come full circle to see outside of the box of MRA sexism and how it is doing nothing to help you or any man around you to live better lives. I just think it's so funny. Because, like, okay, there wasn't a single actual point in it. Like, there was no point in the whole thing at all. Like, she didn't say what she thought that they were wrong about. Like, she was just basically going, oh my, there's this men, these men, these crazy, these men on the internet, they're not feminists, there's men who aren't feminists. Like, that's pretty much what that whole post of hers was. That's all it really was. And I just have to wonder, was she, when she was like 15 years old, did she go to, did she go to the mall when she was 15 and go into like Nordstrom's and start shoplifting? And then if like a male security guard would come up and be like, ma'am, can I see your purse? She would just start yelling, rape! rape! And then she'd run, and that was her plan. I mean, maybe that worked at the time. Maybe when she was 15 and some black security guard had to, you know, try to stop a 15-year-old white girl from shoplifting, she could just yell rape and run away, and he'd be like, oh, fuck this, I'm not going to run after her. Like, maybe that worked. But it can't last forever on social media. Like, you can't just act like this and expect people to take you seriously. And that's why I'm so glad that the feminist argument made it onto social media. Like, fourth wave feminism, I really think has the potential to be the death of feminism entirely. Because it shows how ridiculously melodramatic and dishonest these people are. Like, there's nothing to their arguments, period. It's basically just like, but I'm a woman, I have to be right all the time. I'm a woman. Stop the show, I'm a woman. That's all it is. And it can be honestly kind of hilarious, you know, and not all women are like this at all. And thank God more and more women aren't feminists anymore. Thank God there's all sorts of MRA females, and yeah, you know, thank God that there's women like this representing feminism, so people can see that it is obviously just the most awful mentality. It's going to be another long few years before, you know, there's a new cultural thing that we're all talking about, but we're still winning. That's the end.